97 hours before Iowa chooses. In fact, the last two winners in this state are on this stage tonight. Governor Huckabee, in 2008, you won by 9 points here. But this time, your support seems to be going to Senator Ted Cruz and Donald Trump. Why, Governor, is your message not working this time?
I don't think it's that the message isn't working. I think it's the message isn't getting out. Because the message that I have this time, Bill, is exactly what I said 8 years ago. I talked about how people who are standing on their feet on factory floors, people who lift heavy things, who sweat through their clothes, they're getting gut punched. They are not having a fair shake in this economy. I talked about that 8 years ago, and I'm talking about it now. I talked about the importance of preserving life, of not just saying we're going to defund Planned Parenthood, but let's do something bolder. Let's get rid of abortion once and for all by applying the 5th and 14th Amendment to every person from conception, because that means that we recognize that no person can be deprived of life or liberty unless they have due process, and that's not happening in our country. And I believed and continued to practice that we need the fair tax to revive our economy, to make it so that people are able to be rewarded for their work rather than punished for it.
Governor, thank you. Senator Santorum, 4 short years ago, you won Iowa. You beat Mitt Romney. You pretty much shocked the country. But just the other day, you talked about doing what is in the greater good for your campaign. Is Monday night your last stand?
You know, listening to what your network was talking about prior to this race, this debate, reminded me of the coverage that many on this floor are getting. This debate was called the undercard debate. The undercard debate. It wasn't advertised significantly. In fact, the entire hour lead up to this, there was no conversation about any of the 4 people on this debate stage. And that is the chronic situation. In fact, they put a poll up from Wall Street Journal, NBC News, and they listed the candidates, and they failed to mention that I wasn't listed. I got 0. Why? Because the NBC Wall Street Journal poll never includes my name on the list. This is what the media has been doing over the past year in trying to segregate and take Iowans out of the process. What Iowans deserve is to hear from every candidate on an equal footing. Had they applied the same rules 4 years ago, I would have been in the undercard debate. The guy who won the Iowa caucuses would have been in the undercard debate, not talked about. We would have been talking about maybe an entertainer that may have been trying to run. Ladies and gentlemen, you have a chance on Monday to put the record straight about who you want, not who will entertain you,
okay,
but who will fight for what you believe
Senator,
in, and I hope you do it.
Do you want to name, Senator, do you want to name that entertainer you're referring to?
Well, look, the entire lead up to this debate was talking about whether Donald Trump is going to show up for the next debate. The people of Iowa, who I know pretty darn well, care a lot about the issues. They care about who's going to be the leader of the free world, who's going to be able to take on ISIS and take on Iran and make sure that we're safe. They're concerned about whether their agriculture programs to the renewable fuel standard is going to be maintained.